Hello, my name is Beining, and this is my teaching science video assignment. To begin this activity, I first want to ask the question if anybody has ever heard the phrase that my plant is thirsty or that my plant needs a drink of water. If you have, that is because all plants need water to survive. Now, before I begin this activity, I first want everybody to take out their KWL charts. Your KWL chart should look something like this. It has 3 columns. In the first column, it says, what do we know? In the second column, it's what we want to know. And in the third column, it's what we've learned. So I want you to take your pencils and go ahead and write down what you know about plants. It can be anything dealing with plants, whether you think it's important or not. I want to know what you know about plants. I want you to write down at least 3 things. Could be how the plants get their water, how the plants get their food, what does the sun have to do with plants, anything at all. In the second column, I want you to write down what you want to know, okay? What you want to know. That can be anything at all. Now, I know most of you are saying, I don't want to know anything, but what I want you to write down or what I want you to think about is anything that you have seen on TV that has made you have questions. Or if you've been working outside in the garden with your parents, did you have any questions? Or did they say something that just sparked your interest, that made you think about something? I want you to write that down. I want, once again, at least 3 things. You are going to leave the third column blank. We will get to that later on in the activity. Hopefully, our last column will be more full than our first column, or we'll be able to fill it a little bit easier than the first 2 columns. Once you are done with that, I want you to go ahead and pass your papers forward, because I am hoping to glance at it briefly before I start the lesson, and then hopefully during the lesson we'll be able to answer some of your questions or discuss some of the things that you already knew or something that you want to know. Go ahead, pass those forward. Okay, as I mentioned before, all plants need water to survive. Now, that is going to be the specific topic as to what this activity is about today. How the plants get water. Okay. So, all plants need water to survive, even plants in the desert. They need water in order to keep from wilting and drying up. Water also has dissolved nutrients in it the plant uses to spread out within the different parts. Okay? So, but that poses a question, doesn't it? Because most plants are in the ground. Their root system is in the ground, so how do they get the water up from the ground into the different parts? So, before we get going with our carnation activity, we are going to first do a shorter activity to help us understand some properties that water has. What you need at your desk, and you should all have it, is a glass of colored water, such as this. I have red. The bolder the better, so that we can see what's going on. And also a paper towel, as this. Now, the paper towel is not to clean up any messes. However, if you do have a mess, you end up spilling the water accidentally or making a bigger spill than intended, please let me know so that we can clean it up as soon as possible. We don't want anybody to slip and fall. Okay? This could be a safety issue. So what I want you to do first is take your glass of water and gently pour onto the top of your desk. Now, I say gently, don't dump the entire glass out on top. Now, as I have demonstrated up here, there is a pool of water that has been collected there on top of my desk. Do you see it at your desk? What I want you to do is observe what the water is doing. Did the water spread out all over the entire desk? No, it didn't. It stayed collected. Okay. Well, let's think about this for a minute. Does anybody know why the pool of water stayed in that spot? Well, this happens because of cohesion and surface tension. Cohesion is the attractive force that pulls similar substances together. In this case, the individual water droplets are being pulled together. The force of the pull is strongest at the edge of the pool of water, right along here. The water droplets at the edge have fewer neighboring water droplets, so they cling more tightly to those around them. This is known as surface tension, and we will talk about this later. So what I'm going to do now, I want to demonstrate one more thing before we get into our flower activity. I want you to take your paper towels and go ahead and dip the corner of your paper towel into the water pool. Only the corner of the paper towel. No other parts should touch it. As I am dipping the water into, as I'm dipping the paper towel into the water pool, I can see that not only is the corner getting wet, but the water is also crawling up the paper towel. Kind of interesting because I did not have that paper towel part touching the pool. What this is called is capillary action. Okay? Something else important that we need to understand before we get going with our flower activity. This occurs when the force binding liquid together, which we already discussed with cohesion and surface tension, and the force attracting that bonded liquid to another surface, which is adhesion, is greater than the force of gravity. So in this case, gravity is trying to pull up, but capillary action is stronger, and it is pulling up.